hope you're doing fantastic. So I was working with a prospect this last week, actually a friend. We were working through how do we get phone sales? How do we get better at this talking thing that tends to happen once you get into a sales call? Because let's be candid, getting people to buy stuff online is awesome. We love it. That's great. But most businesses rely on the relationship and getting face-to-face at some level, right? So you've got to master the art of communication and the art of selling and using a telephone. I know it sounds awful, but it is one of the most lucrative skill sets I've created during my extensive years on this planet, right? So you've got to make sure you fully understand how to sell on the phone. And so that's what we're going to talk about. How do you make your first sale on the phone? And while we're going through today's training, I want you guys to remember, if you have an aha moment, if you hear something that you're like, that is key, that's awesome, I've got to remember that, go ahead and just type in hashtag LightBulb. It helps me know what's hitting and what I need to do more of. So please help us out. Hit hashtag LightBulb whenever you have one of those aha moments where you got it and you're going to remember it. So the first thing I want to ask is, how many of you guys have closed sales over the phone or video? I consider Zoom a phone call, right? Same thing, or WebEx or Skype, whatever you want to use. But how many of you are constantly closing over the phone? How many are using that methodology to build your business? And here's a hunch I have, is the people who are constantly using phone calls, they're getting on webinars, they're meeting with people in person, are having more success than the folks who are waiting and hoping that someone will come through, maybe it's a funnel, or maybe it's a landing page or an order form, and they'll just sign up. Because here's what I know. What's going on up here in the mind of a buyer is really hard to capture everything in a static page, in a static post or anything like that. So getting on the phone is constantly going to help you improve your skills, improve your closing ratio. So the first thing I want you to remember, whenever it comes to phone work, whenever it comes to what you're doing with a prospect, is confidence and tonality. The way you say something matters, and it matters a lot. And here's the thing, you need to have confidence. You need confidence in you, right? If you are not confident that you can do it, why the hell should I be confident that you can do it? Confidence is one of the most important things when it comes to working with someone. So I want you to take a minute, just one quick minute. Think back to a time when you were on a phone call, or maybe it was in person, or maybe you were talking to someone and you lacked confidence. And after that call, you said, oh my goodness, how did I let that happen? They didn't mess the call up. I did. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe that's how it went down, right? To be totally transparent, guys, I can think of a call last week where I was not at the top of my game. I was not in the right headspace when I was making the calls, and someone picked up the phone, and then I blew it, right? Confidence is key when it comes to prospecting, when it comes to phone work, when it comes to sales. So the most important thing to do when you get started is have confidence. And you have to be confident in yourself. right? You've got to know. One of the reasons I find it easy to sell my business is because I know the main thing I'm selling is me. And I'm going to make sure, even if I mess something up, I'm going to make sure I fix it. And if something goes wrong, I'm going to fix it. I've got that confidence in myself. You need to have that confidence in yourself. You've got to know and own that I can do this and I'm going to do this. So confidence and tonality will take you so much further than if you just focus on learning a script or figuring out what you need to do when it comes to growth. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Have you ever decided against buying because the salesperson didn't sound like they knew what the heck they were talking about? Right? Type in story. If you can think of this, type in story, because this is something I've seen time and time again. And I know it happens all the time. And that's one of the reasons why you've got to know what it is you do, but not in terms. Here's where people can get confused. They think I need to tell them exactly what I do. I need to open the curtains and show them and be like, this is it. No, what you need to focus on is understanding the problems you solve. Okay? People do not buy because you do something. They buy because you solve their problem, right? When someone has an issue, let's say you're selling marketing services. If you're selling marketing services and someone comes up to you and says, hey, I need help. I got to get more leads. Do they really want to know what you're going to do on LinkedIn and Facebook and Google Ads? What they really want to know is, how do we solve these problems? So if you're selling marketing, the first thing you've got to figure out is, where is the leak? Where are we missing people, right? You've got to dive into their problem. So when it comes to growing, selling, you've got to be an expert at asking questions. Here's what I know. You get paid on the information you get, not the information you give. Okay? Your success in sales is dependent on you collecting information, asking those questions, understanding what's going on. I was on a sales call yesterday and I was talking to this company and they were talking about where their leads have been coming from in the past. 85% of leads were coming from trade shows, which is awesome, unless you're struggling with COVID and trade shows are completely shut down, right? So you have to ask questions to understand that. If I went into the call and was like, hey, this is the great, wonderful things we do, how am I going to know what they're struggling with, right? So you've got to be asking these questions. You've got to be asking people and helping them figure out what is holding them back and what can they do to move forward and get to that next level. So make sure you're asking questions, because I'll say it again, your value and ultimately your paycheck depends on the information you get, not the information you give. If people want information, Google's out there, right? YouTube's out there. You can get information everywhere. It really, in sales, comes down to you knowing your stuff, you knowing what you do, how you do it, and being able to ask questions and take your expertise, combine it with where they're at right now. What are they struggling with right now? And then provide potential solutions. That is how you get great at sales. You've got to be great at asking questions and using your product knowledge, using your expertise with their problem to provide solutions like that. So that's one of the things that you have to remember. So the next thing, which a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy, but that's just a statement. A lot of people do look at me like I'm crazy. But here's the thing. You must let prospects sell themselves. Stop pushing prospects into buying, because the only person qualified to close anybody is that person, right? We buy for our own reasons, not the salesperson's reasons. People don't buy because you want them to buy or because you're great at something. People buy because they have a reason and they see the need. They have a pain. They want that pain solved. The client I was talking to, if they buy, they will buy because they see a solution to an issue, not because I want them to be a client, right? So why would I try to force them to buy? Closing is one of the biggest misconceptions out there. It is not your job to close. It is your job to facilitate discovery and help people understand what problems they're facing and how your solution, your product or your service can solve those problems, okay? So you've got to stop trying to close prospects. Let them close themselves. Become great at asking questions. Become great at nurturing them, and let them nurture into a new client, right? So the next thing that you've got to be great at when it comes to sales, when it comes to selling on the phone, is you have to set expectations up front, right? You have to let them know what's coming at them, how it's coming out, or what are the next steps. Have you ever had a great sales call, like a fantastic sales call, and you left and you were like, yeah, I did that. That was awesome, right? Depends who you are, how you would react. But if you did not set the expectations at the end of the sales call for what happens next, what is going to happen next? See, you always need to start with the expectations and then end with the expectations of the next step. So we're constantly setting expectations. And those expectations need to take you on a journey. They need to take you through this experience called life and help facilitate discovery of what is holding these prospects back. What is holding them back from getting to that next level, from solving that problem? Why haven't they tried it or done it so far? What have they tried in order to solve the problem, right? We've got to set these expectations and really understand what we're going to do to move forward. You've got to constantly set expectations, because those expectations are what you get graded by. They're what makes it or breaks it when it comes to the sales call, right? If you tell someone they have to make a decision at the end of a call, yes or no, they're more likely to listen than if you don't, right? And here's the thing. If you are going through the sales process and don't clearly spell out, hey, listen, we've met a couple times now. At this point, it's really, do we see a good fit or do we not? And I'm fine with a no, but at the end of this meeting, I'm going to need you to tell me yes or no. Are you comfortable with that? Right? If you set those expectations, people will pay closer attention. So that's one of the things you've got to do as you're going through the sales world, is you've got to constantly set expectations. So these are some of the tips and tactics. You've got to have great confidence and tonality in yourself. You have to become a master at asking questions and helping people discover what they're struggling with and what they need to move forward. And then you've got to become a master at setting expectations and laying out what is going to happen next. Where are we going and why are we going there? If you do that, you will become great at sales. So another tool that we've put together to help you become great at sales is, we call it a prospecting blueprint. This blueprint is designed to help you figure out, how do I go and follow up? Because have you ever looked at your CRM and thought, oh my God, I've got to do something with this guy, but what? Oh, I feel like I just called him. See, if you take time to answer these 4 questions. If you type in #blueprint, we'll send you the link where you can grab this file. But if you take time, answer these 4 questions, it will help you prospect like this, because you don't have to think of, how do I contact him? What should I say? What mode should I contact him? Is it a text? Is it a phone call? Should I put a card in the mail? Right? So answer these questions. It will make prospecting super simple for you. And if I can help you guys with anything, reach out. That's my job, and I love doing it. With that said, I hope you have a fantastic day. If you have questions, if you have ideas, if you have anything that you've been working on and that you're like, oh, I need some help here, let us know. Who knows? We'll do a video on it. It's how we get some of our greatest content. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. And if I can do anything to help you, reach out. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to end this.